You looked in the mirror this morning, and the hair looked thin. Flat. Too much scalp showing at the crown. You did everything right, the products, the blow-dry, the angle. And still, that word arrived quietly in your mind before you could stop it. Old. Not tired. Not just having a bad day. Old. You are not imagining it. Fine, thinning hair after 60 is one of the most specific and frustrating styling challenges a woman can face, and most of the advice out there was written for someone 30 years younger than you. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women, so you get simple, proven transformations that work immediately. Today we're covering 3 stunning short hairstyles for women over 60 with fine thinning hair 2026. And by part 2, you're going to want to stop and look in the mirror. I mean it. Part 1 opens with the single cut that stylists say adds the most visible volume to fine hair over 60, and why almost no one is asking for it by name. Part 2 goes somewhere most videos won't. The one styling technique that works against you every morning without you realizing it, and the 30-second swap that changes everything. Part 3 and Part 4 take you through 2 more stunning shapes, one devastatingly chic, one quietly revolutionary. And Part 4 has a specific detail most women with thinning hair never hear, but every great stylist knows. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1. Something shifts in your face when the right cut is on your hair. Not dramatically. Not like a makeover moment. More like the room comes into focus. Suddenly your eyes are the first thing anyone sees. Your cheekbones red higher. Your jawline looks defined. You look like yourself. The best version of yourself. And it happened because of 3 inches of hair falling in exactly the right place. That cut exists. It has a name. And most women with fine thinning hair over 60 are walking right past it at every salon appointment. The cut is called a textured pixie with a longer crown. Here is what that means and why it works specifically on your hair. The sides and nape are cut close and clean. Shorter than a standard pixie, following the shape of the skull. The crown is left longer, between 2 and 3 inches, and cut with a point cutting technique that creates movement within the length rather than weight. The result is a cut that sits on your head with lift rather than gravity. Your scalp does not show at the crown. The longer crown creates the optical illusion of density where you actually need it most. Now, the reason most women never ask for this by name. When you sit in a stylist's chair and say you want something short and low maintenance, the default answer is a blunt bob or a uniform shortcut that takes off length without building in any architecture. Those cuts are quicker. They are easier to execute. But on fine thinning hair over 60, a uniform cut removes what little visual weight you had. And the result flattens the hair against the skull in a way that emphasizes exactly what you are trying to minimize. Write this one down. Ask specifically for a textured pixie with a longer crown and point cutting at the top. Those words matter. A stylist who hears them knows exactly what you need. One maintenance note. This cut needs a refresh every 4 to 5 weeks at the sides and nape, but the crown can go 6 to 8. The investment is small. The return is significant. The next hairstyle I'm covering? It is the one that surprises people most. Because it looks like a style for thicker hair, but it's actually doing something specific and extraordinary for fine hair that most women never get told. That's coming next. Part 2. Bold statement first. The hairstyle I am about to describe is the one stylists quietly recommend to their best clients with fine thinning hair, and almost never mention in a general consultation. Not because they are hiding it, because most clients never ask the right question. You are about to ask the right question. The style is a soft French crop with a fringe. And before you close your mind to the word fringe, stay with me. Because this is not the fringe you are picturing. Here is the specific problem this fringe solves. When you have fine thinning hair and no fringe, the eye travels from your forehead up and over the crown, which means any thinning at the crown is the first thing that registers. A soft, side-swept fringe that falls to the brow redirects the eye horizontally across the face instead of upward toward the crown. The thinning disappears from the viewer's line of sight, not because it is covered, because the eye is simply led somewhere else. Toward your beautiful eyes, your cheekbones, your natural elegance. This is one of those things I wish someone had whispered to me years ago. It is not a trick. It is visual architecture. Now here is the styling technique that is working against you every morning without your knowing it. When most women blow dry fine hair, they lift the root and then let the hair fall back in the same direction it grew. That direction is usually flat and forward, which means even a good cut ends up lying against the skull by the time the dryer is put down. The 30-second swap. After lifting the root, tip your head forward and direct the airflow backward and upward, toward the crown, for the final 30 seconds of drying. Then set the hair with a cool shot and let it fall naturally. The root now points up rather than flat. The crown lifts. The fringe has movement. The whole picture changes. There is a reason this is the one a friend of mine heard and immediately called her stylist. It is genuinely that fast to change. Maintain this cut every 5 to 6 weeks. Ask your stylist to keep the fringe point cut rather than blunt. A blunt fringe on fine hair sits heavy and draws attention to the texture. Point cut fringe moves. Part 3 has the cut I describe as quietly devastating. It is understated in photographs and stops people in real life. The difference between those two things is the specific detail I am going to give you, and it is the detail that makes all the difference on fine thinning hair. That is next. Part 3. Here is a question nobody asks out loud, but almost every woman I have spoken to with fine thinning hair thinks to herself, is there a short style that does not look like a short style? Something that reads as deliberate, as chosen, as a woman who wore her hair this way because she wanted to, not because she ran out of options. Yes. And this is it. The cut is a layered nape-length bob with internal graduation. Here is what that means in plain language. The bob falls just at or slightly above the nape of the neck. From the outside, it reads as a clean, elegant short bob, the kind you have always seen on the most polished women in any room. But on the inside, hidden underneath the top layer, the hair is graduated upward in short internal layers. You cannot see them, but you feel them every time you style the hair, because those layers push the outer surface upward and outward from below, creating volume you did not have to manufacture at the root. I watched a woman in a salon chair last week. Stunning bone structure, perfect posture, and a blunt jaw-length bob was doing all the wrong things to her face. She kept asking the stylist to just clean it up. She did not know what she was actually asking for. What she needed was not a cleanup. It was internal graduation, and once the stylist added it, the whole shape lifted. She looked at herself in the mirror differently. That shift is real and it is fast. On fine thinning hair, the enemy of volume is weight. A blunt one-length bob carries all its weight at the ends, which pulls the hair downward and accentuates the scalp at the crown. Yes, that's simple. Internal graduation removes weight from the ends and redistributes it upward. And the surface of the hair holds its shape throughout the day rather than collapsing by mid-afternoon. When you ask for this cut, use these words: layered nape-length bob with internal graduation and point-cut ends. The point-cut ends are important. They prevent the ends from sitting heavy and keep the shape mobile. Ask your stylist to leave the top surface clean and smooth. The layering lives underneath. That contrast between smooth surface and internal volume is what gives this cut its quiet sophistication. For maintenance, this shape holds beautifully for 6 to 7 weeks. The graduation does not grow out the way a blunt cut does. It softens, which means the in-between stage is still wearable. Part 4 is the one that surprises people, because the fourth style is not a cut. It is a cut combined with one specific technique that makes every single one of these styles last twice as long between washes, and most women with fine thinning hair have never been told about it. That is the final part. Part 4. Every great stylist knows something about fine thinning hair that almost never gets said directly to the woman sitting in the chair. Not because it is complicated, because it requires a conversation that a busy salon appointment rarely has room for. You deserve to hear it plainly. So here it is. Fine hair does not just thin. It changes in texture. After 60, the hair shaft itself becomes finer in diameter, which means the individual strand holds less moisture, responds more slowly to styling, and loses its shape faster once humidity or heat touches it. This is not a product problem. It is a structural reality. And the solution is not a better shampoo. The solution is a cut that works with the new structure of your hair, not the structure it had 15 years ago. The fourth style is a tapered undercut with soft top layers. This is the cut that stylists describe as the most technically sophisticated option for fine thinning hair over 60, and it is the one that delivers the most dramatic results in photographs and in person. Here is the structure. The nape and sides are tapered close, not shaved, tapered, which removes the bulk that fine hair accumulates at the lower sections and creates a clean, sculpted silhouette from behind and from the side. The top is left with soft, longer layers between 2 and 4 inches that are razor cut for maximum movement and minimum weight. The result is a shape that looks deliberately architectural, polished, modern, not young, better than young. Now, the technique that makes every one of these 4 styles last twice as long between washes. It is called dry texture application, and the specific instruction is this. Apply a small amount of dry texture spray or fine hair mousse to the roots only, before styling, while the hair is still slightly damp. Not wet, slightly damp. Then style as normal. The product bonds to the hair shaft at the root when there is just enough moisture for it to adhere. And as the hair dries fully under the heat of the dryer, it sets the lift at the root rather than at the surface. The result is volume that holds from morning through to the evening, not just the first 2 hours after styling. Most women with fine hair apply product to dry hair after styling, which adds weight to the surface and collapses the lift they just created. This one small shift changes the entire day. Ask for this cut using these words: tapered undercut with soft razor cut top layers. Confirm that the top is razor cut, not scissor cut. The difference in texture is significant on fine hair. This style holds for 5 to 6 weeks and grows out beautifully. You now know all 4 styles, and more importantly, you know exactly what to ask for and why. That knowledge is yours every single time you walk into a salon from this moment forward. Take it with you. You just learned 4 specific, stylist-approved short hairstyles designed precisely for fine thinning hair over 60. The textured pixie with a longer crown, the soft French crop with a point-cut fringe, the layered nape-length bob with internal graduation, and the tapered undercut with soft razor-cut top layers. You did not just watch a video. You changed how you will walk into your next salon appointment. Wear this knowledge with the confidence it was always meant to carry. Tell me in the comments. Which of these 4 styles are you taking to your stylist first? And were you making the blow-dry mistake from part 2 without knowing it? I want to hear from you. Next time we are getting into the one-color technique for fine gray hair that adds the illusion of density overnight, and it is not highlights. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.